People once believed terrifying things that sound insane today. Let's uncover 10 horrifying beliefs from the past you won't believe. Number 7. Number 1. Bloodletting as a cure for illness. Imagine going to the doctor with a headache, fever, or even a simple cold, and their solution is to cut open your vein and drain your blood. Sounds insane, right? For centuries, bloodletting was one of the most common treatments in the world. Doctors believed the body had four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If you were sick, they thought these humors were out of balance. The answer: drain some blood to fix it. This was practiced everywhere, from ancient Egypt to 19th century Europe. The tools were as scary as the idea itself: sharp knives, hooks, and even leeches sucking blood straight from your skin. People thought if you survived the blood loss, you'd get better. Spoiler alert, most of the time, it made things worse. Even famous historical figures weren't safe. George Washington, the first U.S. president, reportedly died because doctors drained almost half of his blood trying to cure a throat infection. Number 2. Miasma theory of disease. Before modern medicine, people believed that diseases like the plague, cholera, and malaria weren't caused by germs but by foul, poisonous air called miasma. If something smelled bad, they were sure it could kill you. During the Black Death, cities were filled with fear. To protect themselves, people carried flowers, herbs, or even vinegar-soaked cloths near their noses, thinking it would filter the deadly bad air. This belief was so strong that doctors created the terrifying plague masks with long beak-like noses stuffed with aromatic herbs. It looked like a horror movie but was considered cutting-edge protection. Even governments acted on this theory. Streets were washed with perfumes, dead animals were burned, and garbage was buried deep underground to clean the air. Sadly, none of this stopped the real killers: bacteria and viruses. Number 3. Witch trials and executions. Imagine being accused of witchcraft just because your neighbor didn't like you, or because your cow stopped producing milk. In the past, thousands of people were tortured and killed under the belief that they were witches. From the 15th to the 18th century, Europe and America were consumed by witch hunts. The infamous Salem trials are only the tip of the iceberg. Burning at the stake, drowning, and hanging were standard justice. The tests for witchcraft were absurd. If you floated in water, you were a witch and burned. If you sank and drowned, you were innocent but dead. No one could win. Most victims were women, but men and even children were also accused. Fear, superstition, and religion combined to create one of history's darkest and most horrifying chapters. Number 4. Mercury as medicine. Centuries ago, doctors believed mercury was a miracle substance. They used it to treat a variety of illnesses, especially syphilis. The problem: mercury is highly toxic, and it slowly poisoned the very patients it was supposed to cure. Mercury treatments came in many forms: ointments, pills, and even vapors that people inhaled. Patients often suffered from hair loss, tooth decay, kidney failure, and severe neurological damage. The phrase "a night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury" became a dark joke of the time, referring to the devastating effects of mercury treatment after contracting syphilis. Despite its dangers, mercury remained popular for centuries. It wasn't until modern science linked it to severe poisoning that doctors stopped prescribing this deadly medicine. Number 5. Trepanation, drilling holes in skulls. Trepanation is one of the oldest surgical practices in history. Ancient people believed that drilling holes in the skull could release evil spirits responsible for headaches, seizures, or mental illnesses. The procedure was done with crude tools, sharp stones, or primitive drills, and without anesthesia. Imagine being fully awake while someone carves a hole into your head, hoping it will cure you. Remarkably, many skulls from ancient times show signs of healing, which means some patients survived this terrifying operation. For them, this was considered a form of healing or even spiritual cleansing. While modern medicine uses precise techniques for brain surgeries, trepanation in the past was pure guesswork, a dangerous blend of superstition and desperation. Number 6. Burning or burying plague victims alive. During medieval plagues, fear and ignorance often led to extreme measures. People believed that burning or burying the sick, sometimes while they were still alive, could stop the spread of disease. In towns overwhelmed by the Black Death, entire families were locked inside their homes and set on fire if one person showed symptoms. It was seen as sacrifice to protect the rest of the community. Some were buried alive due to misdiagnosis or simply because they were too weak to protest. Imagine waking up in a mass grave, surrounded by panic and darkness. This horrifying practice wasn't just cruel, it also failed to stop the spread of deadly diseases, proving how fear can override compassion and reason. Number 7. Using arsenic as a beauty product. In the past, pale skin was considered the ultimate symbol of beauty and wealth. To achieve this look, many people, especially women, used cosmetics made with arsenic, a highly toxic poison. Arsenic powders and lotions promised to give the skin a smooth, ghostly white tone. What they didn't know was that daily exposure caused hair loss, ulcers, organ failure, and even death. Some beauty pills of the 19th century were literally pure arsenic. Women believed these products would keep them young and beautiful, but they were unknowingly poisoning themselves. Ironically, while trying to look alive and flawless, many women ended up with a sickly, ghost-like appearance, a deadly beauty trend that claimed countless lives. Number 8. Cannibalistic cures. In medieval Europe, people believed that consuming human body parts could cure diseases. Yes, you read that right, blood, bones, and even powdered skulls were sold as medicine. The blood of executed criminals was often collected and sold as a cure for epilepsy. People would drink it while it was still warm, thinking it carried the life force of the person. Ground-up human bones and mummified flesh were mixed into tonics to treat everything from headaches to internal bleeding. The wealthy even imported mummies from Egypt for this grim practice. It sounds like horror fiction, but this form of medicinal cannibalism was mainstream for centuries, showing how desperation and ignorance shaped medicine in terrifying ways. Number 9. Child labor as normal. For centuries, child labor was not just accepted, it was encouraged. Children as young as 5 or 6 worked in mines, factories, and farms, often for 12 to 16 hours a day. Industrial Revolution factories were the worst offenders. Kids were small enough to crawl under dangerous machines, cleaning them while they were still running, risking their lives every second. Mines were another nightmare. Children carried heavy loads of coal in dark, suffocating tunnels, inhaling toxic dust and suffering permanent lung damage before they even became teenagers. Society saw this as character building and cheap labor, but it was nothing more than exploitation. Many children never had a chance at education or a normal childhood. Number 10. Animal trials. In medieval Europe, animals were sometimes put on trial just like humans. Pigs, cows, and even insects could be accused of crimes and sentenced to death by hanging or burning. If a pig injured someone, it might be dressed in human clothes, taken to court, and judged as if it understood the law. These trials were public events that attracted large crowds. Insects like locusts or rats were sometimes excommunicated by priests in bizarre ceremonies, as if they could be scared away with divine punishment. This strange mix of religion, superstition, and legal systems led to some of the weirdest trials in history, showing how logic was often absent in medieval times. Which of these shocked you the most? Comment below and share. This video. History is stranger than fiction.